So Dave,
Yeah.
big fan over the years, owned a JJ, owned a couple of other things. I wanted to take this chance to just talk to you about how you got into the industry, where you started, where you grew up, all that. So, where are you from, man?
I'm from Detroit, Michigan originally.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
How I got in this industry, that's an interesting tale. I moved to North Hollywood, California, well, maybe just California in general,
Yeah.
when I was 18 years old.
Okay.
Make it big in the music industry, you know?
Yeah.
I was always a guy in Michigan that was into how did that artist get that guitar tone? How did he do that? I want that sound. I really like that sound.
Okay.
And always trying to figure that out. And
Yeah.
there's a guy I had contacted in California called Andy Brower. Andy Brower ran a studio instrument rental company and cartage company for studio musicians.
Okay.
And he had an article in Guitar Player magazine and stuff. So I contacted him for some information and stuff.
Yeah.
He said, "Look me up when you get out here."
Yeah.
So I went to work for him essentially when I got out
Okay.
here. The cut and dry, and at that point in time is the heyday of making records and music, and that rental fleet had every vintage amp, vintage guitar, everything known to mankind, modded amps, everything. So you really become used to what everything sounds like, and a huge library and background in sound,
Yeah.
And eventually he started a store, an offshoot, with a guy from Chicago, Greg Bales.
Okay.
And he had Making Music in Chicago, and then there was an LA version of it. And he
Okay.
started it with Andy, and I kind of moved into that realm and sales and selling high-end musical gear and
So
stuff.
you were in retail sales.
Later I was, yes.
Yeah, okay.
At first I was actually in a truck delivering
Yeah.
gear and doing stuff, but then it moved into high-end retail sales, like
Okay.
boutique stuff.
Okay.
So had a big background in that. But during my time at Andy Brower's, there was guitar rigs being built, and the guy that was doing it left. And I said, "Hey, I think I can do that for you."
Yeah.
So that's how I started that
Okay.
realm of my business. I doing that for 35 years.
Yeah.
Building guitar rigs for likes of Eddie Van Halen and
Yeah.
Jerry Cantrell and Steve Stevens and all these people. So it kind of gives me a foothold,
Yeah.
being in the retail and doing the rigs, and gives me a real foothold in the industry.
Yeah.
And the first thing to happen was a client of mine had a Soldano modified guitar preamp by Bruce Egniter.
Okay.
And I knew Bruce from Michigan,
Okay.
and it was awesome sounding. And I go, we really need a really good guitar preamp, because it was kind of, at the time, racks and things were a thing. We really need a really good guitar preamp. So we became partners on the first Egniter IE4 preamps.
Oh, okay. Cool.
And I helped him sell them and get them into artists' hands and studio musicians and stuff. And he was really my mentor in the amplifier realm,
So do you have any electrical engineering degree or anything?
I do
like
not.
that? Neither do I.
I don't.
It's two of us.
So I learned,
Yeah, man.
hands-on learning,
That's
over
awesome.
time. And so we did that product, we did another product. That eventually ended.
Yeah.
I'm kind of shortening it a little bit.
Totally.
But later on, I was involved with Blankenship amps, and we did an
Yeah.
amp called the Veriplex amp,
Yeah.
and that was really successful.
Okay.
And so then we moved on. I moved on from there, eventually making my own line of amps.
Yeah.
That started around 2008-ish
Yeah.
with my own line of amp. It started as a Marcia, and then transitioned into the Friedman brand name.
So the first Friedman branded amplifier was,
Probably
Is it a B?
around 2009.
and that was a BE. What model was it?
Yeah, it was a variant of the BE 100.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean an early version of it. Yeah.
Okay. So your shop is in California still.
Yeah.
Right. How many builders do you have? Like how big is the shop?
Well,
How
okay,
big
so
is
we
it?
partnered later on after we were making the amps for a while.
Yeah.
In 2014 we partnered with Boutique Amps Distribution.
Yes.
To take it to a larger scale.
Okay.
Make more of them.
Yeah.
So they've been making them since 2014.
Okay.
It's really kind of like a partnership.
Yeah.
I test all the amps still.
Okay.
Every single one that leaves the shop, I've played through or tested.
Okay.
And you know, it's been a great partnership with them
Yeah.
over time.
And
So there's probably 50 people employed there.
okay.
Yeah.
That's killer. Yeah, I had a JJ, and that thing just blew me away, man.
Yeah.
I was playing it through a vintage Ampeg D4 cabinet.
Oh, okay.
With Patriots in it.
That's interesting.
Very interesting
Yeah.
combination. So what's next up for Friedman?
Oh, we keep coming out with new products and
Yeah.
stuff. I mean, today here we've showed the new JEL 50 amp.
Yep.
So it's, you know, the bigger brother of the little JEL 20 amp, which we've had for a while.
Yeah.
We used to have 100. That was a limited run though.
Okay.
And people asked for more power, so we're going to give it to them now.
Nice. How did you? I mean, you do have like the names, like under Friedman, like Steve Stevens, like you said, you know, the guitar player type of thing. You know, Jerry Cantrell.
Chris Shiflett,
Just from being
Phil X.
Is this just from being in LA and running into the people, or referrals? How did they come to
A
you?
lot of them came to me, well, I had a long history with Jerry. I built his guitar racks way back, so we kind of had a long history, and then we kind of lost touch for a long time, and then I built a new system for him again, and then I'm like, hey, you want to listen to this? And you know, you get in the door that way, and you meet people, and yeah, it helps being in the industry for 30 plus years.
Totally.
You know, it helps a lot.
Yeah.
You know, it's like if you're new and starting out, you have a big hill to climb.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not an easy task.
I couldn't imagine trying to be into boutique guitar amplifiers right now. You know.
Yeah,
what I mean?
you can crash and burn easy.
Have you ever thought about doing any kind of like DSP in any of these, or are you always just going to be straight up amplifiers?
Well, we have the IRX and the IRD, which does have DSP, you know, in it for the IR section of the amp and of the tube direct solution is what we call them.
Okay.
And they have that in it. As far as the amps go, that remains to be seen.
Yeah.
I do like to kind of keep it pure because, and you know, one of the amps we released recently is the Plex amp, and that's about as pure as you can get.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see what the future brings. I'm not going to say no.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
You never know how good things can get.
Yeah.
That you could put in there, you know. Well, Dave, I
Awesome.
appreciate it, man.
Yeah, no problem.